Like a fan that's above the stage.
There's a formula, you know. It's just
yeah, I know, right. Okay. Pick up the battery, right? Take care of it, yeah. Yeah, right. So your house is okay to rehab, but they're rehabbing it? Oh, okay. Yeah.
So no shadow acting.
Yeah, I know. They say the soot is what kills everything. Right, they do damage, yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, right, right.
I'm not even that far.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah, so he's saying we go someplace good.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, no kidding. Right, right. As long as you can be an independent man, you know what I mean? Right. Yeah, then you might think, okay, maybe it's time for me to do something else. Right, right. I know, people always do that. Oh my goodness. My sister had melted all down her TV. She had like one of those, entertainment center kind of thing. She left the candle and it burned all the way down the front of her. Yeah, it's dangerous.
Where did you get that shirt?
Yeah.
Will you be quiet, you're talking? These are it. My girl will find mine.
Oh, wow. Oh, nice. Right, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, nice. Good. Oh, nice. Yeah, sure. To encourage it.
Yeah, I want to just be over here.
I'll be praying it really works out for 3 months for your house and you'll be able to get back in there, you know. Sooner the better.
Something convinced, and not necessarily me, but anybody that sees,
Yeah, right.
what would
Oh,
convince
wow, yeah.
this guy named Eric to say myself?
I wonder why you don't want to do it.
Different chambers in there. 3 different zones. Close your eyes. Close your eyes.
And then from there, then you start asking questions.
Do you feel like you're spinning in any
Right, right.
orientation?
Okay, I got
There's another one. Wait, I got another one. Look up.
You don't get to do that.
I get 2. Look up.
We took a picture together. I have to let him do what he wants.
Now, see, tell me the vacuum up there, like whatever, 4 miles out of the vacuum. Out from the vacuum, something nice there. All vacuums
It has to
suck
be a
air.
physical barrier.
No physical barrier.
And you say there's no physical barrier.
It's not something air.
Right.
It cannot happen. High and low pressure on the earth, they are always going towards each other. Right? Now look at the sunset. First off, the sunset is... Got it.
One, I'll just say my view. So, not to say you're wrong, but is flying an airplane. You don't feel much inertia. Take off, you feel a lot of inertia. If you have a change of direction, what change of direction? Yes, anytime
Oh, okay.
direction.
Oh, wow. Yeah, right.
Anyway, not making chopped turns is really no acceleration. In my view, you don't detect motion. Operators will detect the change in motion.
From one place to another, I'm just going to go, why don't we just Go up, 100,000 feet, wait, and then come back down to the new destination.
Oh, that's
Okay,
easy.
so wait a minute.
That
Now
would be
wait.
Because we have moving inertia.
Your
you
your
go above
airplane
the
example only proves an enclosed system.
Because the air is spinning with.
It's an enclosed system.
Right.
That's why you don't feel the air, but you do feel
I'm
the.
not saying feeling the air. 'Cause
Or
we're
you
talking
feel
about
the
air
motion, the
canals.
movement. It's an enclosed system.
Right, I'm aware of that, but so you're saying the air.
Oh, so
is
you're aware
pushing-
it's an enclosed system.
I'm aware it's an enclosed system.
Okay, so that means we have a dome.
Oh, wait, no, the plane we're talking about.
Well, that's also going for the
I'm
Earth.
aware of the plane.
We're relating
air
all
is
this to
attached
the Earth.
The land, like you're saying. It's because of gravity, I guess. Gravity holds down.
That's
All
the common. I don't need to.
Are you? Can I ask? Are you with a group? Or are you just good friends? Or
Well,
are you anti-flat Earth?
We're,
Are you scientists? Are you professors? Do you have
we have just like you guys have a group. We have a group called Science Strike Force.
science? Right?
The only reason there's a group here is because I set out the word I was going to be here and they all came.
You're the one. You tracked this.
A bit of a nucleus, yeah.
This is a bit of an honor, then. Anyway, yeah, and the one thing that I noticed when we met at Point is that this was different than discussions that we've had with Jaron and Nathan and all those kind of things, and that it was immediately, what's wrong with you? And we want to argue.
Oh, sure.
And when we met at Point Pleasant, he did not want to argue.
That wasn't pleasant.
We just talked.
Point unpleasant.
Yeah.
We just talked.
But I like to talk about evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to talk about evidence.
Ocean.
Right, and
Perspective.
where we left off is we were talking about what you were saying, why you don't feel movement in a plane. You said because it was an enclosed system, right? Did I hear you correctly?
Well, see, it's hard to relate things to the spinning ball because there is no such thing. So, but the only way that you can even talk about that is if it's an enclosed system.
Okay.
So if we have an enclosed system, then we don't feel any of the movement through space, and the vacuum of space can be separate from the atmosphere on Earth in a globe situation. But since we're not in a globe situation, I mean, how do you account for there not being a dome or an enclosure?
We've jumped on top. If we just stay.
Can I jump?
Either one's good. Either one's
Laser
whether
beam's flat. You freeze the water lakes. All right. You put the laser beam, and it stays the same surface all the way across.
Okay.
Zero curvature.
That over. See, I always object.
Do you know the curvature formula? We have it over there. On a.
Yeah, why don't we go look at the curvature formula?
Ball of radius 3,959 miles.
What we're doing at the moment is called dish galloping.
Okay.
Can we not?
Yeah,
Because I like just talking, not
yeah.
debating, not arguing or any of that stuff. But
We're talking facts.
Yeah. Well, yes, but if we pack too many of them in a short period of time,
Then
Well-
we have lots of truth.
well, yes, but it won't, no one would be able to address all of them.
Please
That's
address.
what the gish
Yeah, but-
gallop is.
yeah.
Which is here's 50
But you
things.
see, the
You can't
problem
answer
with
all of
us-
them.
No horses, no horse around, no galloping horses. Give us some more info.
The problem is we all went through the heliocentric model all our whole lives, and me for 60 years. So then I came to this point and I said, I'm going to look at the evidence now and I'm going to think logically.
Right.
And I arrived at this flat Earth.
Got it.
Okay, so for me to talk heliocentric and even like consider it is really insulting, and it's like, why go there?
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
we're talking
like-
truth. We're not
Yeah, we
talking
just,
about
so let's talk an
quality.
issue or a
Proof.
point of fact.
How do tides work? They don't work on lakes. Great Lakes have no tides. Lake Baikal, no tides. Ocean has tides. Explain.
Every fluid on the Earth actually has
They do
tides
not.
to different degrees. Okay. That's
Well,
it.
maybe to different degrees
This
because
would be one of those differences of opinion.
the
where we
oceans
don't
are salt.
trust
The oceans
anything.
are
I've gone to
salt
Great
water,
Lakes,
so they are
I've
more.
studied in the moon and
Okay.
different
Now
high tides, deep tides.
back to pre-Gish Gallop. We were talking about.
I got a scientific experiment for you guys. Scientific experiment.
Trying to hit them in order. The next thing that we talked about was why you don't feel movement in airplanes. Oh, we're moving on the Earth.
No, that works
moving.
on both. You have it. You have that right. Sorry to interrupt. In a car, there's a hard dome. You can't feel the motion.
Because you're enclosed.
Because you don't feel the air moving. That's part of it.
if it's so, then it's the wind that's holding that, because that wouldn't affect your inner ears. So,
but you feel it on your surface of your skin. And
yes,
stuff.
if there was wind. But
Everybody, we are not
no wind in closed system.
I'm not calling that a total truth. They could go both ways.
Indeed. That's I'm just trying to address stuff in order when we said it, so we don't get.
So whose order? Who's making the order here?
Well, you guys did. You said you talked about the airplanes. No, not the airplanes. The Earth is moving. Why don't we feel it? So that's the airplane reference. And
well, that's one thing we could do right here without any instruments, like right here. What? Stationary. Your body, you're standing, you're not falling over.
Look, I get sick on a merry-go-round. I would know if it was moving.
Well, yes, but a merry-go-round takes a relatively sharp curve and there are changes in velocity. Yeah. Changes in velocity is what the inner ear detects. So it's inside your head. It's not detecting wind, the air not blowing past you and all that. Because the wind is blowing past us
okay.
now. Yeah, we know we're stationary.
Let's switch topic now. I'm ready to switch topic.
Okay. Good time. The next one was you had mentioned why the atmosphere, if the Earth is a sphere and there's atmosphere surrounding it, why doesn't it flutter off into space, going from area of high pressure to area of low pressure?
Okay.
That is, I'm going to have to say the G word, and you can both point. You can both point and chuckle. But
no, I'm not going to do that.
Our model says that since air has mass, it is attracted.
Good. Look at his shirt.
No, don't invite anybody else in. You can look it up at home.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Indeed. Since air, the molecules have mass, they would be attracted to other objects with mass, and the model we use.
Proven.
Well,
Cavendish was in the shed with the two big balls, and guess what? That experiment never been repeated. Mass does not attract mass. It's been
one of our guys.
Never been repeated.
One of our guys, Andy, has repeated 3 times in his basement, and there's videos. And you can try. If you're really
all kinds of YouTube videos. No one.
Indeed, but
okay.
Forget the videos because that's anybody
Here's the
can
topic.
do all sorts of funny.
The topic is gravity, right?
Okay.
Okay. Now, is there any other possible explanation for things falling to the Earth? Could there be? Could there possibly be?
The only other one would be constant acceleration, and that would have to that would come to a
No,
logical limit.
I got another one. Would you like to hear it?
I would.
Okay. I believe it's diamagnetism. Did you know that there's free-flowing electricity up there? Did you know that?
Free electrons, we mean.
No, free-flowing electricity proven by Nikola Tesla. He wanted to put up the towers and give everybody free electricity. And you're laughing. Why are you laughing?
That's in our group. I'm the one that likes large sparks. Tesla's my guy.
Okay, so did he or did he not prove there was free-flowing electricity?
No. What he wanted to do...
Well, I think you're wrong, because he did.
How could I be wrong when I haven't said anything yet?
Because you said no.
So any opinion that differs from your own is automatically
No,
wrong.
I said, did he prove there was free-flowing electricity? And you said no.
No, that's not what he was doing.
Then what was his tower all about? And he put the stakes out in the ground around it. And he said to J.P. Morgan, I could give everybody free-flowing electricity. And he said, where do you put the meter? And
yes, that is why
Tesla said, you don't have a meter.
Correct.
And J.P. Morgan destroyed him.
Yes.
Okay, so...
There was no way to bill for the electricity used. One, it was
yeah, why wouldn't you have it free then? Why would you not want that?
When it's my turn, say talk, and I'll talk.
Okay.
When it's my turn.
All right. You have something to say? I don't know. What was my...
Mass attraction, right? That's where you left off.
I mean, here we go. I'm not getting to diamagnetism because you won't even admit that Nikola Tesla promoted free electricity.
Because he did not propose free electricity.
Okay.
The electricity itself still had to be supplied to what was basically a large, sort of in the RF range transformer. It was the transmission only that he proposed would be free. Electricity was not. Electricity cannot be generated for free. It's not to pull electricity out of the sky. It was a transmission medium. A Tesla coil is basically an unmodulated large AM transmitter. And the second coil is the receiver.
And Tesla said that the Earth was a coil. He said that the Earth was a large Tesla coil.
I have not heard that quote, and I'm somewhat dubious.
Okay, well then I'm going to explain the rest of how
please do.
How I view this, and then you see if this isn't a possibility in your mind, but I don't know that it will be. But did you ever see a force field where it looks like a donut? The electromagnetism comes up and around, and it kind of looks like a donut with a hole in the middle.
Yes.
Did you ever see that force field? That's what I think that...
Well, I've seen a representation.
Okay.
We can't see
yes,
it, but a representation.
Okay,
yes.
Okay, good. So I think that the electricity comes up out of the North Pole, and it excites the elements in the atmosphere, and that's called the aurora borealis. Then it comes up and around, hits the dome, and goes past, and it goes through the sun, and that's a positively charged filament. Okay? Then it goes from the sun to the moon. And that's why the moon is only illuminated on the side that's facing the sun. Then it goes down the dome to Antarctica. And we do not believe, well, I don't believe that the whole of Antarctica is freezing cold. I don't believe that, okay? I believe there's even warm areas in Antarctica. Antarctica, do you know that our model shows Antarctica going around the outside edge? Okay. So that would kind of go along with this whole donut shape idea. That's what I am proposing, is that we are not being pulled down to the center of the Earth. We're being pushed down from the top by diamagnetism.
I see. All right, so if this were, I know this is not an accurate,
okay.
I know you're not saying this is our model, this is our
That's
matter.
Fine, I'm not a nitpicker.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So you're saying that from central location, it's basically a toroid wrapping around the edges, that sort of thing.
Yes.
And from this being the north, you're saying that the energy released from the north, and again, I'm just making sure I understand
of the elevation, the altitude, and that's where the elements are concentrated and they are excited, like a neon sign.
Okay, so you're saying that would be the cause of the aurora?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, the only thing I would respond to that is, and I don't know, maybe you'd say that we're observing...
Well, don't anticipate my objections, just go ahead.
Okay. There are correlations between detected solar output, what the sun's up to, whether there's been a large amount of particles emission detected and that sort of thing, and auroral activity. And there seems to be a lag. There seems to be a lag that we observe some event, some solar event happening, a release of charged particles, and then a certain amount of time later, we see increased auroral activity.
I haven't done that experiment.
Well, we can't.
Okay, so then...
We can't personally do
So
that.
we deal in what we can test ourselves and our reality, okay? I don't trust anything that comes out of the government's mouth.
So then how did
Nothing.
how did we test the toroid then?
That's my theory.
With a compass.
Yep.
At any altitude, latitude,
Thank you.
North always points to the north. It's not like,
No matter where you are.
It's not like you go to southern, hemisphere areas and you have a...
I know what you mean.
It doesn't point south.
It doesn't have you don't have to get a south pointing needle, But
right.
You're right. Just uncurl the bottom, your hemisphere, the southern hemisphere. The same thing works.
And squish it down.
All electromagnetic fields are a torus. You ever get like the little film that you get, a little green film, you play with your magnet?
Yes,
you can hold the, the thin, you ever watch Ken Wheeler? He's a great guy. He's right up your alley, right there. The angry photographer, Victoria Apopopsis, whatever his name is. You know what I'm talking about?
And we're
great into depth about how electromagnetism works. Now, what's the formula for gravity at a distance? Mass, what is it? It's the inverse square rule, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm keeping on point here.
It's all connected. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's
to interrupt.
the rule for electromagnetism? Inverse square rule. The distance is times, the mass, whatever. Can't say it right now.
Oh, okay.
We've been here all day.
I know what you mean.
But they are the same formula. And back in 9th grade physics, whenever I learned that, I'm like, wait a second. Different force, same interaction, call them BS.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
But gravity is allegedly 1,000 times weaker than electromagnetism, and
you
ask any scientist, you ask Neil deGrasse Tyson, what's gravity? He's like, we don't know. Next question.
Yeah, we can't test it. We don't have anti-gravity, but we do have anti-electromagnetism.
Physical, right?
Yeah, so we can test that. We can.
What does anti-electromagnetism show, though? I mean, what is that evidence of? Okay, you brought that up. What is that evidence of?
It's a quantifiable, repeatable, demonstrable effect all the time.
Thank you.
You can oppose electromagnetism. My question is, how does that provide evidence either for or against a flat Earth or for or against the spherical Earth.
Well, we're just talking about the force that's holding us on the ground.
Right.
If you want to talk about more flat Earth evidence, then we'll go to the next topic.
No, we can stay on this.
No, we got to go to the next topic because there's too much.
I have a question we haven't asked. Are you defending the ball Earth? Your shirt doesn't say we are a ball.
Yeah.
What is? Do you have a model?
It is my belief that we're on the spherical.
Okay.
That is my belief, and actually, that's what I can't.
That's fine.
What's the size of it?
We've got freaking big.
Much bigger than the model we're given. The 3,960 radius. You're saying much bigger than that.
No. I'm good with that.
You're saying that
24,901 for an equator.
To me, that's pretty big. You have other.
Yeah, but by mathematics, we are not supposed to see Wildwood down there at 20 miles because of the mathematical formula. We have a way of testing that.
Model's been disproven.
We can test that. We can quantify it.
How are we off of the
We already exhausted the force.
No, we didn't. Why does this magnetic force hold things down? Why would it do that?
It pushes us down. Look up diamagnetism. It's a repelling force. So if there's diamagnetism up there, it's going to repel everything down. And it's all going to be in layers, depending on mass or weight, whatever you want to say. Buoyancy and density are factors in that. But that's what's holding us down. That's my theory on this. Okay. Not a lot of people, it's not like flat Earth wide that they believe that or anything. It's not that. We are all individuals. We are not a group that everybody thinks the same. Okay?
And I know one contiguous model that everybody accepts is not in existence yet. I know that's still being worked on, something that everybody
because if I had $1 trillion, I'd write a textbook and I'd teach the kids. But, we are not subject to that. So
back to the diamagnetism. We still haven't said why it either attracts or repels anything.
Because
without a charge.
That's what it does. What do you mean without a charge? It's electromagnetism.
Right, it is. Now, have you ever waved aluminum around a magnet? Not much effect, not much goes on, right? Or a pencil, not much goes on, right? What is different, I'm asking, what is different about diamagnetism that it's able to affect materials like us, wood, things like that, that don't have...
All right, I'm gonna solve this problem here.
Okay.
Is that the globe heads, or the globe believers, or globalists, whatever you want to call yourselves, okay? You want to believe that the force...
I want to call myself a rational human, and
I'm going to tell myself a rational human.
Can you answer the question? Don't tell me what I am.
Don't interrupt. I'm saying that the globalists want to call it gravity. This force...
But what is it?
Excuse me. The force is gravity for the globalists. The force for the flat Earth is something else. It's not gravity. And I'm suggesting that it's electromagnetism.
Okay.
There's a whole lot more evidence for my theory than there is for gravity.
Well, I would disagree with that, but second, it still didn't answer the question. If it is basically diamagnetism, it's basically a magnetic field we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Why does it affect objects that are not normally attracted or repelled by? That's all my question is.
Oh, it does. There's been, I haven't seen these yet, but
right, that's what I'm saying. Why does
you ever see the floating frog experiment?
Yes, frog levitation.
And they scaled it up. This was done back in the 1800s. You got a large field. I think they only used permanent magnets back then, but you can scale it up with a electromagnet, and you could put, water-based things. They put a frog, and they didn't scale it up officially any bigger than the frog.
Okay.
The frog was unharmed. It was just floating there like, hey, I'm floating in space.
That's an experiment from Denmark.
I think so.
So look that up.
So
it's a YouTube experiment. Floating or levitation frogs. That's what they do that.
Like, can you define that right now? Anyway, there's two kinds of magnetism. There's diamagnetism, as she's saying, and paramagnetism. Diamagnetism is a repellent thing. Paramagnetism is what they call the attractive magnetic aspect. Two aspects.
Right.
If you take your blood, I've seen this experiment online, I've not done it. There's iron in your blood, right?
Yes.
I think we all agree on that. It's the core component of I think it's plasma, the hemoglobin molecule. So the molecule doesn't lose its iron as it gets oxygen rich or oxygen depleted, but it changes its magnetism property. Oxygen rich is, I forget if it's repelled or attracted, and then when it's depleted, it's the opposite. Very interesting. Just one example of paramagnetism.
Okay. Back to, okay, so this diamagnetism repels.
Yeah.
What we think is
And it's up there.
Yeah.
And everything else is being pushed down. That's what I think. That's what.
Okay. And standard magnet has 2 poles. Am I to assume that diamagnetism, this also has 2 poles?
Don't know that
Yes,
much, but I know all
do you know
magnets
how a
are
car
disc
speaker
magnet.
works?
A disc magnet.
Yes.
A car speaker has the
disc
one
magnet.
pole in the center, and the outside rim is the other pole.
Okay. All right. So basically, you know what? If
Kinda.
if that were the model,
Not really.
if that were the model, that is basically if you curved your flat Earth model into a sphere, it would be the same.
Correct.
It would be the same magnetic pathways. All right. Okay.
All right. So
Except that water doesn't
go ahead.
curve.
You have an argument there, proof there.
I still didn't get an answer. Why, if it's a form of magnetism that repels, that's what we said it is,
Yeah?
correct? Wouldn't there be a difference in how much things that we don't generally consider to be affected by magnets, the aluminum, wood, bricks, stuff, low iron
Well,
bricks,
just as in the frogs,
versus, right?
where the humans are affected by that in the same way.
Right.
We are electric bodies. We have electricity running through us. And why is that smirk from?
No. This is, I'm trying to remember to get back to, we're doing the Gish Gallop again.
We're all not electromagnetic scientists. I can move on to a new topic.
Yeah, let's go to another one because
Great
between
question.
gravity and
Easy,
electromagnetism,
easy question.
it's limited.
You give
It's
us a
limited.
proof or move on. Move on.
Move on.
Antarctica. We don't fly over it. We can't go there. All the coldest temperatures, the highest winds ever recorded are all down there. Not a
Can't be
balanced
proven.
thing. Right. Go ahead. Ready, set, go. Antarctic Treaty. Never been
Do you know
violated.
about the Antarctic Treaty?
Tell us
Yeah,
more.
I'm
Tell us all
familiar.
you can prove about the bottom of the sphere, Antarctica. All the flight paths don't go over it. Commercial flights do not go over it.
Okay, well, for that mainly has to do with population centers, for the most part.
Sure.
Because most of the people are, in my view, maybe there's some other reason, but in my view, most of the population centers are really kind of up from there.
Australia, South Africa, tip of South America. I mean, that's enough because they all go north before they go south again.
Right, well,
Tell us more about Antarctica. Why was it discovered so late? North Pole, we've been there for centuries, you know? We've been
yes.
running around the north.
well, it's not an easy trip to make. Secondly,
Why isn't it?
Watch a 200 proofs video, but make sure you're sitting.
video ain't gonna show me nothing.
Make sure you're sitting down.
I flew.
My dad was a pilot too. I dated several pilots.
Obviously, you didn't go.
Well, obviously, I know something you don't. I know something you don't.
So bogus.
Yeah, well, look at it.
Last tourist flight crashed. There was a New Zealand company that used to go fly the. You know about the shirt? Have you seen this shirt? With
I haven't seen it, but there's
a
like a million of them
tete-a-tete,
similar.
a fun tete-a-tete. So
Did we move to the new topic yet?
No, we're on Antarctica still.
Oh, Antarctica.
So why not?
and you mentioned the treaty. As far as the treaty is, it's public. I mean, we can read it, and I'm sure you have because
Yes.
you brought it up. It appears to be just the only restrictions appear to be for preservation, unless there's some I don't know about. I think I read the whole thing.
You can look this up at home. No, it's not a joke. Not a joke.
I don't know if that's proof of anything bad because I guess the reason is why would one? If there's a compelling reason for some country to violate it, they may.
Okay, here's another big thing founded around the same time as the Antarctic Treaty, NASA. We went to the moon, right? Do you believe that we went to the moon?
I'm pretty good with
Do you know that we went to the moon? You know that we went to the moon.
I would accept. I accept.
You
that we
accept
have
that?
done
You
Yes, I do.
suggest
Okay.
that we went that.
Well, I don't think we did.
49 years since the first flight. We haven't been back since 1972. Wow.
And then they say we can't go
And then we
back.
lost the technology.
Okay. Well, first we haven't been back. Why? Well, the why is the answer. They had nothing to do there.
But we want to go to Mars?
Yes, it is. Well, let's stick to the moon first. Why we didn't go back? So there's nothing to do there. We didn't have the
There's
technology
a
to do
lot to
mining.
do there.
Right
we
now
can
there is.
put up bases and military and travel and tourism and
we
stuff.
did not
Two
have.
space tourists ever.
We did not have the technology to do any. Well, we had technology to do mining. Getting it back to Earth would be a completely different matter.
We can use
So
it there.
that- right.
Why bring it
indeed.
back?
We did not, at that time, there was not the technology to do it, and there was no compelling economic need to do so.
Wait a minute.
No one was, and I'm admitting the prime motivation behind most of what goes on, I agree, is profit. At the time, there was no profit to be made at that time.
No technology. I think Nixon called on the phone and talked to them.
Science says
I mean, holy
the
cow.
surface of the moon is a level of helium-3. It's like one of the most.
He wants to have a discussion.
You know,
You can take this home and look it up, and it's absolutely true.
radioactive. It's called helium-3 NATO. How come about a month or two ago, Buzz Aldrin told that 8-year-old girl that we never went to the moon? It's all over YouTube, and they're trying to scrub it.
They are trying to scrub it.
Someone is, because the videos that are posted, they disappear. I bookmarked them, and they're not available.
There was, I believe I've heard that, and there was some serious quote mining and mixing of things. There was a conversation, if this is the one I'm thinking of, he was talking about, yes, and he was talking about, at least on a couple of occasions, but just, kids yeah. The one that I saw, I only saw one, and you can, if it's not all of them that are that way, tell me, I'll go look for others. But it appeared that it was not contiguous, and he was not saying.
Oh no, it's one clip.
Yeah, I'd like to see that because.
So it was good editing. Is that what you're saying? I said that in 2 words. And you take 10 minutes to say something. That's what kind of frustrates me a little. So what's your next point?
You don't want to talk to me anymore then?
No, that's not it. I want to. We have 200 proofs here. 200 proofs.
Quantifiable numbers from you.
Yeah, debate.
Without duplications, how many are those?
Probably about 54.
They're not from her,
but each one is still a proof.
Oh, yes.
So give me, let's talk about something, another proof. You can look it up. So let's talk about something else, like the curvature. Let's look at the curvature.
Yeah, that's all I need.
I mean, how do you explain that there's no curvature? How do you do that?
Well, I can't explain that there's no curvature because...
Well, then tell me what the formula is, show me some evidence, and then we'll talk about that.
Well, let us see...
Really, what's the formula? What is the formula?
Refraction?
No, it's not.
Involves a bending.
Do you see Wildwood down there? That's 20 miles away. It should be under 200 feet of water.
Not a mirage.
20 miles. There's a curvature formula.
We need more proofs.
It's mathematical.
Some good numbers from you.
And if you go on Google, you'll say Earth curvature calculator. And that's what it will tell you, 200 and some feet. Where is it? How come we can see down to the ground below those water towers?
Well,
I mean, really?
If we were to say for sure, there's a lot more information that we need than just we can see it.
So that's a mirage? Is that what you're telling me? What are you telling me?
Can I tell?
I'm waiting.
Waiting is not talking. There we go. There's more information we need before we can make a determination that there's no curvature.
You're full of crap.
Okay, I can't tell. All right,
no.
I was going to tell, but we're not interested
more
in
information? What more information do you need? I drove.
Water temperature, air temperature. There's two that come in handy.
When the weatherman came on and said, "Oh, that's not Chicago across 60 miles of Lake Michigan," he said it's a mirage. Well, one of our guys got in a boat with a camera and drove or sailed or whatever in a speedboat across that Lake Michigan, and nothing changed. That was not a mirage, it was a lie. Okay? We are not here to promote any lies. We want people to know truth.
Getting closer to an area that appears to be higher than it is because of refraction, which you're just using the generic term mirage, there are several types, but one that you appear to have the full view because of refraction, getting closer to it would get you closer to actuality. So it's not like you would get there and everything would still be 100 feet above you. I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say. Why would this
Nothing changed. The video was the same the whole way across.
And
there was no...
Why would it not be?
And a superior mirage is upside down.
And
so there was no mirage.
Was Chicago upside down?
It was not upside down. I have a picture of it right over there.
Then why are we talking about that?
Well, because I asked you about curvature.
So
no curvature.
We say inverted image. As soon as someone says curvature, we say inverted image, superior mirage. No, right? We're talking about refraction. Why you can see lower along an object than you think you should be able to because of the curvature.
Lower on an object.
Right. Yes.
Okay, 225 feet.
Right.
Is that what you're saying? Is that's just like a trick? Is that what's a trick that we can see that? Is that what you're telling me?
I wouldn't say a trick, but again,
it's refraction. That's why we can see that. Just make a statement. Is that refraction that we can see Wildwood?
how many fingers am I holding up?
How many am I holding up?
Make a statement.
Read between the lines.
Make a statement. Make a statement.
Why can we
How
see
many
Wildwood?
fingers am I holding up?
Why can we see Wildwood?
Without all the necessary information, which is what we should gather. Water
No.
temperature, air temperature would produce a temperature inversion, which means layers of different density. No, it doesn't.
No. I was here in June. I was here in July, and now I'm here September. Okay. In June it was freaking cold out here. Okay, and I could still see that. July it was hot, and it's hot today, but there's a breeze. There's no difference. And I also have a time-lapse video where the sun goes away, 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 and it gets smaller, smaller, smaller.
That is a falsification. The angular size of the sun
you know what?
does not change.
I kind of think this conversation is coming to an end because you have no...
Why don't I go get the P900 with the solar filter, and you can test that from now until evening. Why don't I do that for you?
Well, because we wouldn't be able to see it from here.
Sure you can.
Why? This is the east, that's the west.
We have a view to the west. When it crosses, when it's at an angle more like this, think of the distance you guys said it was. What was it? 70 miles across, 3,000 miles up? Something like that?
No. I don't even think it's like
all right. But
that big.
It's somewhere. When it's on an angle of 45 degrees, the distance is increased dramatically from when it's near overhead. So, would you like to do the experiment, or would we just like
Well, I'm not staying past 4 o'clock.
All right, let's see if we detect it.
Say, I think you ought to put a video up and put it online and send it to me. You can get it here at Flat Earth PA, YouTube, or you can send it to flatearth101.com. But, you know, if you're going to say that it's all some kind of magic, smoke and mirrors, nah. I can see that.
Magic is saying
I can see Wildwood, and you shouldn't be able to.
We're on a flat surface.
Can you see the boats out there?
Yeah.
As soon as they go over the horizon, the bottom of the boat disappears first.
No.
Yes, it does. Every single boat everywhere on the entire planet. You go out on the edge of any beach on the entire world, and you can watch the boats disappear from the bottom first as they sink on the horizon. With the best telescope in the entire world, if we stand right here, we should be able to see Britain. From our space, we can see thousands of planets and stars. How
far can you see on a foggy day?
Doesn't matter. If the
yes, here you go. You deny the fog.
Why does it matter?
Well,
because
the fog doesn't matter. Okay,
there's moisture in the atmosphere. There's moisture.
So we can take
when
out
it's
the
really
visual
dense,
telescope,
you cannot look.
We'll take out the visual telescope. We'll use different kinds of telescopes. We'll send packets of infrared radiation out there, and we can capture images bouncing back, just like we do on other planets in the solar system that we can't see with the naked eye. So we watch that light come back to us because we can't see through certain spectrums
and all of what you're saying is like imagined. It's what somebody's telling you. It's not what you see with your eyes.
Did you see this with your eyes as opposed to what someone was telling you?
Which picture?
When you woke up one day.
Point to it and we'll talk about it.
What picture? I'm not talking about any picture.
Okay. And the diamagnetism we discussed, you said gravity. You said gravity, and I said diamagnetism.
Yes, we said
you can't see gravity either. So why are you pointing to that?
Because
you know what you are doing?
I just hold the weight in my hand. I get heavier.
No, why can't it be diamagnetism? Do you know what diamagnetism is?
9.8 meters per second.
I gave up on that.
You have to give somebody a time here for every rebuttal. Do you know what diamagnetism is?
No.
Okay, that's what you have to research.
Okay.
Okay, you have to look into that. And here, these videos will start you off. And look up diamagnetism. Why do frogs levitate? They did those experiments in Holland.
They have a certain amount of iron in their blood, just like we do. If you use an incredibly powerful electromagnet, you can do it. We can actually replicate it. I've spun massive amounts of wire. Michael Faraday figured out when you push electric field through wire, you can create a magnetic field. In fact, it's the generation that created all the electricity that we know today. So if you're saying that doesn't work, then nothing
what do you
that we
mean?
have works.
What generation created electricity?
Michael Faraday found out that pushing electricity through wire creates a magnetic field. And that's exactly how we make electricity on everything. Every kind
So
of...
electricity has to be created. And I am suggesting...
Not necessarily, but the way we create it, I'm saying, the way we create
the way
electricity.
humans create it.
So you push water through a dam, it turns a turbine, right? That turbine moves a magnet past a piece of wire.
What does that have to do with the difference between a globe and a flat plane?
We were talking about you levitating frogs. You brought up that subject. I'm finishing the subject.
No,
okay?
I'm finishing it.
Okay, go ahead. I levitate frogs by there's a certain amount of iron in their blood. I use incredibly powerful magnetic fields. You can levitate a frog.
And you think that's all that does it?
It's all it needs to do.
Okay.
We can simulate that with
so why
any other
can't
thing.
we be held down to this earth because of the iron in our blood?
Why do we need to?
Why can't we be held to the earth with diamagnetism and being held down here with the iron in our blood? Why can't we?
Well, the earth does have an incredibly powerful magnetic field at its core. That's true. However, the magnetic core does a lot more things than just keep us down here. It doesn't have,
but
we don't
it
have
could
the iron to do that.
It could be an alternative to unproven gravity, which is just a theory and never been proven.
But you understand, every magnet has a north and south pole.
No,
if we were to keep here, we'd be repelled at some other place.
No.
We'd fly away.
Only if it's a spinning ball. If it's a flat plane, we would not fly off.
Where's the negative field?
I have a question about the science behind this. When you picture the Earth as flat, what's underneath that?
I don't know. I've never been there. All I deal with is what I can experience and see.
So you saw this then. That's what you said earlier.
And you, just the same way you saw gravity. I told you that was my theory.
Right, but you said you only deal with things you can experience and see.
And I told you that my alternative to gravity was this. Now you're going to bring this up. No, and you haven't seen gravity. So that topic is done.
No, it's not.
It's done.
Up to the degree
No,
that
I'm done. I'm done with that.
Did you not say?
I'm done.
Did you not say you only deal with what you see?
I'm done.
I will not answer any question that makes me look foolish.
No.
Do you have a tattoo on your arm?
You smack? No.
No,
I was doing the wave like
No, you're being an idiot now. You're being ignorant and you're being disrespectful and mocking. And I told you that my diamagnetism, I'm not going to because you are mocking.
Took a picture of the,
you can look this stuff up when you get home. You are mocking and that's not allowed here. That is not allowed.
You said you only deal with what you can see.
And I told you it was a theory.
Right, but you're dealing with it.
And I told you levitating frogs we can see. So you better back off of this or I'm done totally with you. I'm done.
It's been seen before.
So the last return, there's 6
No, I'm not going to deal with somebody who mocks, and you are a mock.
And I thought I was fairly polite.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. You hold your hands, but you're really inside. You're mocking totally.
You know that one of the first pictures of her from,
Do you want to know any information as to the evidence that we have, so you can make an intelligent decision?
I've seen too many counteracting videos. I went to school for science.
Okay.
It's like the only one for 30 years.
Okay.
You get taught all this stuff and decide like what do we got?
No, I got taught the heliocentric model.
In like what grade?
I'm a college graduate.
Okay, good.
Okay. So my father was a math teacher, and he flew off aircraft carriers. My son is a physics major. He has 155 IQ. I studied this for 2.5 years, and I'm not going back. This is true. Okay? That's right. So I've looked at all the evidence. It took me a long time to accept this, and I accept this as truth.
I just think...
What did you go to school
You
for?
I have business and finance, but my son is a physics major, and I have electronics courses. In my job, I took electronics. So I studied this. I'm not a dummy, okay? And I'm not some religious nut either. And that's why I have these proofs out here, because you have to look at the evidence and then make a decision.
So you're seeing to believe.
Seeing to believe?
Like you have to see it to believe.
Well, if I can see Wildwood down there 20 miles away, there's a formula that says I shouldn't be able to.
There's a formula, yeah, but the Earth is, 20 miles away as compared to how many diameters is the Earth?
The equator is 24,901 miles.
24,000 miles.
Yes.
And you're worried about seeing 30 miles away.
No, there's a formula that says I shouldn't see it.
I've done the math.
What is your formula?
I don't, what, do you think I know the formula off the top of my head?
Well, then just Google Earth Curvature Calculator.
Okay. And I'll know how far I can see.
Yes, that's exactly right. You Google that.
I can see all across that ocean.
That's put out by your government.
So where did you
Right
find
there
these
is
pictures?
They are all coinciding with this 200 proofs video, except I added a few more that I liked.
Did you meet the guy who made the video?
Eric Dubé, I've spoken to. He lives in Thailand. But he's an
over the
American.
phone then, or over the computer?
Yeah.
So you trust the phones and computers?
I don't care about Eric Dubé. I am not a follower or a worshiper of Eric Dubé.
No, I didn't.
But he put this out, and
saying.
I tested what I could test myself. And that's what I came to.
Your trust to a man in Thailand, who, you know, I've had a lot of Thailand callers asking for my credit card number. It's the same trust that I have in NASA.
Then you have to look at the evidence and decide for yourself. I don't care. I'm not going to convince you about anything.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? Because I just want you to look at the evidence. Anybody walking by wants to look at this evidence, they can decide for themselves.
To convince us.
I'm not convincing you of anything.
Okay.
Your own mind will convince you. Your own mind. I'm just showing you the evidence.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was in Peru. I go up the sink and I let it all
Look, I'm ready to get rid of that fat guy. He's a mocker.
I didn't hear what he was saying.
What a mocker. He holds his hands like this. There. What an ass. He's an ass. He goes back. Oh, you saw you saw diamagnetism? You said they're only going to talk about what you see. And there, you know damn well that this was between gravity and diamagnetism. And I told you it was my take on the subject. Now let's go to something we can see. And then I said, why, how can you see a Wildwood? Oh, refraction. You can look it up at home.
It doesn't even make any sense.
I know, he's a smack.
I want to.
Oh, sure you can.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping.